Hey, what's up, house groups? I just want to kick things off tonight by talking about the elephant in the room. It's possible that you went to UNI or Iowa State or a Division II or III school, and you're looking at my shirt right now feeling really sad about yourself because your team isn't a Division I conference champion, and mine is. And I just want to let you know, sorry not sorry. Valley champs, baby. Whew. Felt good to clear the air on that. Now we can move on to James. We're talking faith and works. This powerful section right in the middle of James chapter 2 where he tells us that faith without works is dead. Just like we said on Sunday, what he's not saying is that like every time we screw up or every time we don't live out what God told us to live out, we're like out of his kingdom until we earn our way back. We can't earn it. Jesus earned it for us. That's the gospel. But James is trying to help us see that there's a pretty significant difference between a faith that is purely intellectual and a faith that changes the way we live. And I think we know that. That's a pretty intuitive concept. Like, for instance, I believe that George Washington was the first president of the United States. Like, I'm pretty convinced of it. I don't think we could have a debate and you could change my mind. But that changes nothing about the way I'm going to live my life when I walk outside the doors of my house tomorrow morning. I also believe that gravity is real. And that one affects my decision making. That one keeps me from jumping off buildings and believing I can fly. I think what James is trying to help us see here in chapter 2 is that that's the kind of faith God wants for us and from us. That's the kind of life he's inviting us into. Like a faith that he is who he says that he is, that he did what he says that he did, that he loves us and he loves all the people around us so much that our faith can't just like reside in our heads. It can't be just an intellectual exercise. It has to move into our hearts and our hands and express itself as love. Like that's what we're created for, a reconciled love relationship with God and with the people our lives crash into every single day. Like Jesus didn't just come to save us from sin and death and separation. He came to save us to abundant life. And living out our faith is what abundant life looks like. I mean, just stop and think about it for a second. Like, think about the time in your life or the times in your life where your faith has felt most alive. Like, you can picture those moments where you felt like, man, I'm in the presence of God and I feel alive. I bet you they weren't right after you learned something new or read a book or took a class. They were probably when you were like experiencing God in worship or in community or like on a missions trip. Or you just accepted Jesus and you found out who he was. Like faith is alive when we're living it out. And the truth of the matter is like we gotta do this. We gotta live out what we know. We gotta apply it. It's not a salvation issue for us. It's not like in or out. Because of what Jesus accomplished on the cross, we're saved from all of our sin, all of it, past, present, and future. Because of his resurrection, death is conquered. We're saved from that. This is not a salvation issue for us. But it is a salvation issue for all the shattered people out there in the world. Like we're the church. We are God's plan A to reach the world with his love and the beauty of his gospel message. That by grace, through faith, we can be saved. And he doesn't have a plan B. So it's a salvation issue for all the broken, hurting, desperate, love-starved people out there. Which is why we gotta let our faith that God is who he says he is, and he did what he said that he did, that Jesus died and we're saved, we're set free, and we're reconciled. We gotta let that move from our heads into our hearts and our hands and go love our world. Because what we'll find when we do is not only life for our own faith, but we'll find that God is giving us the opportunity to write a better future for our world.